Live.
What up, guys? What up?
What's up? What's up? All right. You ready to go?
We're
gonna hand that back.
What's that? Julian. Yeah.
All right, guys. So I'm actually going live at a podcast show. It's called Don't Go Out of Focus. That's what it's called. It's called The Gay and Straight Debate. So here we have Julian, who's gay.
Yes.
And Aaron, who's straight.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm also straight, which a lot of people wonder if I'm straight. So I'm straight. And then they're always like, what ethnicity are you? Okay, guys, so what's up? What's up? Okay, we got Dina, we got Fenway, we got people listening on the podcast, so I'm gonna double whammy it.
Yeah.
And just to annoy Julian, I'm gonna go BAM! I'm a bam both.
No, I'm a bam disciple. Bam me up, please.
Bam me up. What's up? You're from Texas, Boston. So I might be able to take double questions, you guys, but we're gonna start.
And
So
make
from
sure you're
Savannah.
over here when you sit
What's
down.
up?
What's up?
What's up? Okay, you guys know I just came back from the Paleo FX. It was epic. I was on the panel with Rob Wolf and Nora Gigatis as two of the people on the panel, which are, my favorite people. Let me see here. This is probably...
Why block my face? What's going on? What's up, guys?
What's up? So you guys be looking at, I'm going to start... Why is this phone, this new droid supposed to be in focus? Okay, you're in Cape Cod. We got. Where else we got going? Okay, so you guys.
Cape Cod, I love Cape Cod. P-Town.
Yeah, P-Town. We rep P-Town on this podcast.
So this is the reason why I have a microphone. As you guys know, this will be recorded. We'll go on to what's up, Shanae. This will go on to you don't believe I'm 20 years old. I know I'm at the ripe age of 20.
23.
And add 31 more years to that. Okay, so you guys, I'm doing a podcast show, so I thought I would go live because a lot of the questions that you ask, they will ask. Okay, so stay tuned. I will try to go up to the camera every once in a while and catch some of your guys' questions on the internet.
Dave,
y'all ready? Y'all ready for this?
All right, so I'm gonna put this mic over here for when you go up, and you have a mic right there for the other part.
Okay, cool.
So this is for us, but you can, every time you go back up there,
you
got that
grab
mic.
that mic.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
Here we go. Watch out, guys. We're gonna go on with the questions. Watch
Move
it.
this over a little.
You got a headset right over here.
Okay, here we
I
go.
got my headset. This is great. We're doing like a double whammy thing.
Yeah.
We are.
Double bam.
Double band wham.
Double bam.
Stephanie Person, how you doing?
Yes, I'm doing fabulous, Aaron.
So Stephanie, you
Yes.
are a ketogenic master.
Yes.
She is really a
Yes,
master.
sensei.
Every time I ask her questions about anything, she immediately has an answer and usually comes back with like, but you might have a problem with this and this, and she's 99% of the time, I'd say 100, but I'm just gonna do 99 because some of that I don't even know, she's right. She's always right.
Damn.
You're on her, good.
Yes.
So yeah, and I follow her on Instagram, I follow her YouTube channel, what's up guys, and you're incredible.
Thank you,
So
thank you,
let's
thank
hear a little history about who you are, because I remember you told me you were a skateboarder.
Yes.
So you weren't always into this world.
No, I was definitely not. I
Okay.
was very dumb back in
Okay.
the day. Yes. I didn't know anything.
All right.
I used to be a pro skateboarder for 12 years
Nice.
and skated for all the big companies like Converse and Swatch and Billabong and all these types of things. And I was skating over in Europe and in Sweden, because I lived in Sweden. Så jag pratar svenska. Så alla som kommer från Sverige och Norge och Danmark, du ska förstå mig när jag pratar svenska. So with that said, yes, so I lived in Sweden for a very long time. And I was in a competition in Stockholm, and I fell, and my leg got stuck, trapped behind me, 12 feet up in the air, and began to rotate. The upper body was rotating, and the leg stayed. So I tore everything in the knee joint, which is initially how I started getting into health and becoming more aware of like how to bring down the inflammation. That's when I started working out, because you could not get me into a gym. Now you can't get me out of it.
But you were also that skating is working out pretty much. So your cardio was up, you were working the muscles, and you were young, so you didn't really feel the benefits or what the benefits were for working out or what they weren't for not working out.
No, I had no clue. Yeah, I had no clue. I didn't drink enough water, I didn't stretch, like all those things that don't matter when you're younger.
Right. Can we say your age? I know you're
Of
not
course, I
supposed to.
say it all the time. You're talking about that's
Because
my
that's
thing.
You are,
I am 50 going on 51.
and she literally looks like she's 28 years old. It's
Wow.
ridiculous.
Thank you
She really does.
Thank you.
We actually go to the same gym. I see you there every day.
Thank you.
Yeah, killing it.
Love it.
You have memberships to a lot of gyms. You go to a lot of the gyms.
There's just two of them.
Okay.
Just two of them. But I think that the gym replaced my skateboarding, to be
Gotcha.
honest.
Oh, cool.
I'm used to being around the guys and we're having fun and we're laughing. But that's not how it is today with cell phones and clogged up people. They don't know how to look at each other in the eyes. They don't communicate.
Clogged up physically and mentally.
Physically and mentally. So
Emotionally,
I
yeah.
try to make it like the skateboard part, but it's not. But I'll do like stuff that guys find difficult, like the handstand push-ups or the pull-ups and strict pull-ups and wide grip pull-ups, and guys are like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's so cool. That honestly still really intimidates me. Like, and I go a lot, but I'm just like, ooh,
Oh, yeah.
like I just,
It's
yeah.
unfortunate that and that people get intimidated by it, but I was definitely intimidated by you as well. When I first-
don't know.
And I think that's just because, she's ripped, she's a good looking woman, and she's working out all the time. And I think a lot of guys are just like, oh.
Well, but even you, Eric, from my perspective, I see either of you and be like, oh, I can't do what they do.
Right. And honestly,
yeah, you in
it's
particular, I'm like, I
consistency
see you,
in
I
the
see you.
program is pretty much what it is. Consistency in the program.
Yeah.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to look at exercise not as a chore, but as sort of like privilege. You have to look at it like you're playing in a park. Because if you see it as like something that you have to do, then the mind and the body won't align. You have to be flexible. So I was trying to teach a guy how to do handstands the other day, and he was so rigid in the upper body, he was stiff. And I said, no, relax. And that's what we don't do today. We're just constantly stiff with our butt cheeks smashed together. So when you exercise on that type of physical premise, it's just unenjoyable when you're so locked up, you're so uncomfortable, you're too self-aware.
Right.
Yeah.
And the people that have reached that level of fitness have probably had to get through that too. And so they do probably are more likely to think of this playground. No?
No, for me, like, I always liked to be physical. So I never stopped. And I think a lot of people do that. When you're a kid, you played when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And somewhere that stops.
But I mean, there are people that are not innately physical, don't want to be physical, and then but I think the key is to find something in it that you enjoy. There's so many comments coming up, it's amazing.
Oh, really?
On her live.
Like-
There was.
Yeah. Like, don't look. So explain to everybody what ketogenics is, what it means to be in ketosis and the keto diet in general. What does that entail?
Okay, so y'all watching, you know. Okay, pay attention when I answer.
So-
I will go to the camera, you guys, and answer your questions in a second.
She's
But-
coming to you, don't worry.
Yes. I can't see the questions, but I will see it in a minute. What ketogenesis is a state of which your body can take units of fat, right, and convert it into a substrate that the brain can use.
Okay.
So the primal body, because we're animals, it doesn't understand that we live inside. Has no clue. Everything that happens within the body is to survive outside. So when we have technology, it can destroy the balance of what we are meant to do. So false light is telling our brain right now that it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So then the timing of hormones to sleep is offset. And if you're not sleeping well, you're not repairing. So keto is modeled after the paleo diet, so the Paleolithic era of living as hunter-gatherer tribes. So keto and paleo are very linear. You guys, keto and paleo are very linear, except for with a modern version of a paleo diet, you still are eating carbs. So keto is a low carb, very high fat, moderate to low protein dietary measure that involves no processed food. So that's no bread,
Clean
no
eating.
rice.
Everybody asks what clean eating is. Clean eating is no processed food.
No processed food. But
Yeah.
you could do paleo, which is still your brain is dependent on sugar. And when you do keto, you can't have your sugars, carbs, like you can't have sweet potato or certain berries because there's too much fructose or carbohydrate in the potato, which will spike your blood sugar. Your brain is addicted to carbs, it's addicted to blood sugar. And when you're trying to drive ketogenesis, which is trying to get your body to use a new gasoline, right? It's like diesel. Y'all use unleaded. It's not a good form of gas.
Not anymore.
No. So doctors once thought that your brain must survive on glucose, blood sugar, which is not true. Now they're understanding that we can run on ketones. Our hunter-gatherers ran on ketones because we had times of famine. So when you cannot eat, there's no glucose, there's no sugar coming in, you need to be able to convert.
Your body went into ketosis.
That's right. You go into ketosis, your body can access fat and use it so the brain doesn't go into any trouble.
So there's one question I have. Because in the past people went on ketosis because of being in a state of the starvation almost, and so the body automatically went there. Does nowadays is it healthy to stay on ketosis indefinitely?
Of course.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done it for 10 straight years.
Wow, you're looking pretty good. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to explain this. So Julian was asking, what is keto diet? Essentially getting your body to run on units of fat. So I'll get to the second half of that.
No
problem. Essentially, you guys eating carbs is like, the analogy is putting paper into a fireplace to heat a house. Now paper is going to run really high and really fast, and then it's going to burn out. And then if you want to heat a house, you better get a big ass stack and just start feeding it, and your arm's going to get carpal tunnel and tired. So carbohydrates burn very high, and then they burn out, right? So ketones, units of fat, which you think that you're accessing fat on the cardio pieces of equipment, but you're not. You are accessing muscle. But with that said, ketones is which is units of fat converted into an energy the brain can use in the cycle.
It's using fat as opposed to carbohydrates for energy.
Right. So it's like putting big logs on a fireplace to heat a house, which is going to burn lower, but burn more even. And now you can leave the house because ketones are going to burn for 6 hours without having to put another log on.
Okay.
So it's more even energy without being.
That's a good analogy.
That is.
Yes.
It really works for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the longevity of it is the problem that people have. So you sent me this wacky video, and I was just like, gives me a headache.
Yeah. There was a video that I sent that was very anti-keto, and they came up with some good things, but the arguments they came up with were kind of biased. On one point, they didn't show both sides. So I thought, I didn't want to send it to you, but I thought I'd send it to you and see what you think about it.
The only thing is that propaganda videos against ketogenesis is because they don't have any data. If you reference another person, they don't know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They don't know. It's their anecdotal theory.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah? There are no long-term studies.
Yeah.
So you can't reference a long-term study. And
then most of the studies in this video were on children.
It doesn't even matter.
Which is ketogenesis was basically for children also. Is this like the root of it? It was for children having seizures?
Yeah, no. Okay, so keto is a primal thing. So we've been in ketosis for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors in the early 19th century started seeing that ketones would calm the brain down from seizures. Mm-hmm. So a lot of children have epilepsy, so it's very rare for an adult to develop epilepsy. It tends to go away over time. So children can do it, babies can do it, everyone can do it. The problem is the application of this new reality is so, it's the new discovery. People don't know how to get the macronutrients, which is your fats, your carbohydrates, and your proteins in the right order. You also have to, or the right amount. You also have to consider your metabolic strength or flexibility prior to doing keto. So if you've got high blood pressure, if you've got high blood sugar, if you've got no gallbladder or thyroid or hormonal issues prior, if you've got
they
fatty
need to be
liver,
addressed first.
Yeah, it's not the diet that's the problem. It's the wrong application of it. So when you have people saying, I'm debunking keto, I'm just laughing at them. I'm like, bro, you don't know nothing. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
So
this is
so
such
longevity
a.
is, yes, go ahead, what were you going to say?
Well, this is actually a totally dumb question that I didn't even think of ahead of time until right now. But I am trying to do more more of a keto-like diet. Like I don't fully avoid carbs. Like you see me drinking a glass of wine right now, which I'm guessing is not keto, right?
Yeah.
That's
all sugar, baby. That's all sugar.
No wonder I like it. Bananas. I eat a lot of bananas.
One
like,
banana takes you out of ketosis.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almond butter?
No. So
Almond butter?
oh, there's so much to talk about. Now, I'm gonna pull this camera closer
Oh,
so
closer
my
so
audience
Yeah,
Sure,
can
if
hear.
you want.
You guys,
Because when I think of like good fats, for me I'm like, yeah, bananas, almond butter, avocados. Can I get some love for avocados?
Get some love for avocados. A lot of vegans will be like, avocados.
okay, so now I can kind of see you guys.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We need to angle this at all too.
I will share the Paleo FX conference talk you guys soon. But right now we're doing this podcast with a gay and straight debate.
Yes.
Let's see if you can get cold in my face.
There we
Okay.
go.
Okay.
All right. We can pull this over here like that.
Cool.
Okay.
That way you can.
You guys don't need to see me. You see me all the time on YouTube. Okay. So
yeah.
yes,
I
something.
turned it off.
Okay.
Sorry. It's my iPad is making noise.
Okay, guys. So essentially, bananas, all vegetables, all fruits have been genetically grafted to be something else.
Oh, that's right. You were
There's
saying this,
nothing
Oh, I see,
normal
'cause
that
it's
we're
processed.
eating. No, they take species of plants and they hybridize, right? They take one species and they have little babies and change the structure, original structure of the plant. So bananas are short and stumpy with big seeds.
You like those?
Okay,
Ew.
they taste
Easy.
like
Fruit.
they taste like they don't taste good. They're very bitter and taste horrible. So what you're getting is a genetically modified in some aspects, right? A genetically modified organism to some varying degree
Yeah.
that's not normal in nature, that has more fructose. Okay, so fructose is sugar, it's
Right.
it's a form of sugar
Right.
that goes to the liver. But the problem is that our bodies the body is not supposed to take in that much carbohydrate or sugar in one go. So the reason why the ketogenic diet, which is using a lot of vegetables,
What are they saying?
They're
and
all
I said,
hitting on it.
I know,
They're like, who's the guy in the cardigan?
right?
So,
You guys might
Who's the guy that's
recognize
not
Aaron. He's an actor, but we'll go into that later.
Okay.
Okay, because my audience doesn't know you, so I have to. Why does that keep blurring? That keeps annoying. Okay, stupid droid phone.
There we go.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Alright.
So essentially, if you lived outside, you guys. Okay, this is my question to you both. If you were to live outside, what would you eat?
There's nuts, berries.
Beef.
What kind of
If I could
nuts?
just take
Or
a
how
bite.
about
What kind of nuts?
Yeah.
Almonds?
No.
I don't know.
Turnips,
Corn
No.
nuts grow in the
there's-
wild.
There's
Chestnuts.
root vegetables, lots of
Roots.
root vegetables.
No roots. Yeah,
Yeah.
roots.
There are certain plants that you can eat. There are certain
Microgreens, alfalfa sprouts.
greens, especially.
I don't think there are no.
I think the answer is.
sprouts in Africa.
I think the answer you want
I don't
is
know. I'm gonna
kill
say
a boar.
Africa. I'm picturing a northeastern forest.
So look at it like this. There's not a lot of plant species that we can eat, number one. So if we were to walk outside, stop it! Camera, phone,
Oh.
sorry.
So do we have a
It
hater?
keeps blurring on us. Sorry guys.
Hey, that's why I gotta get an iPhone. All about the iPhone.
No, it's this series of the droid. I've got to figure it out. But anyway, my other
They're
droid
paying.
didn't do this. But essentially, plants. Okay, if we were to walk outside, would you be able to pluck anything that's green and stick it in your mouth?
No.
And why
But
is
I
that?
want to.
Why is that?
Pesticides.
No, forget pesticides. Just the plant
Because
structure.
I have no idea how to survive in the wilderness.
Because it's poisonous, and if you ate anything green on a bush, you'd probably get a stomachache and run to the toilet.
Yeah, because I don't know mites. I mean, back in the day, people knew what they were doing. They knew what to eat. We don't know what to eat out in the wilderness.
So
unless
there are edible plants and there are
Yeah.
non-edible plants,
Right.
right? So they have anti-nutrients in them called salicylates, oxalates, goitrogens, nightshades, lectins. These are chemicals to protect the plant because plants don't have teeth, so they want to survive. So even within the edible family, you still have levels of these anti-nutrients that do us in.
Okay.
So we're supposed to eat in season, but we don't do that. We farm our foods and put manure on the ground and eat it all the time. And that's why people start to develop health issues from plants, no doubt.
We put poop on it and then.
So you
Speaking
also
of
adhere to a seasonal diet?
It would be the best, I don't, but the way you can sort of get rid of anti-nutrients is to cook it down, like cook down some of these anti-nutrients. But I meet a lot of people like who have thyroid disorders, if they're having like plants of the cruciferous family, which is broccoli, cauliflower, kale especially, cabbage, that can block iodine from getting into the thyroid, and then all of a sudden your thyroid hormone goes down and you start developing things like hypothyroidism, or you don't get enough iodine, which could swell the thyroid. So we
And
need
kale is a big thing happening now in Los Angeles,
What was it?
especially. Kale is like a
Oh,
massive
it's been in for a
movement.
while, honey.
You have to look at everything you stick in your mouth in a different way. Plants can actually
do.
hurt you.
I was gonna go there, but I didn't.
Ha
We're
We're
5 years
we
old.
see relationship jokes, we're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
So essentially, we are just eating whatever. We think it's healthy because it's a plant form food. We're eating out of season. It's going to be high in certain things. Like nuts, for example. Nuts have shells because they want to survive.
Yeah.
So they are very high in a thing called phytase. That's why some people try to soak the nuts for 2 days to get out the anti-nutrients. So it can manifest in skin issues. People have allergies. People took peanuts away on airplanes, although that's a legume. But the point is that when people have high allergies to certain foods, it's because they're releasing certain, anti-nutrient
Anti-nutrients.
properties
Just to protect themselves.
to protect themselves. Same thing with egg whites. People are doing egg whites. Why do people eat egg whites?
Wait, I eat like 3 hard-boiled eggs a day.
That's fine. That's fine. That's nothing. But like the white of the egg.
Oh, like in
is
the
to protect
cartons?
the fetus, and people are doing all egg whites.
Just egg white.
And then they develop an egg white allergy because the body's like getting all these anti-nutrients from the white. So we need to look at
so RX bars, man. Throw those out.
bars, like
I
you're
do
eating
like
whole
those
foods.
bars.
Quest bar is, to a lot of keto
Wait, so-
people, Quest bars are good as long as it doesn't have the sucralose in it.
Oh, really?
Quest
Quest
bars
bars
are garbage.
specifically?
Garbage, not garbage.
No?
No.
I mean, they taste delicious, so I would guess they're
tasty, though.
garbage.
No,
Yeah, they
that's what I
taste
say.
like a
Because
macaroon.
they're smart. They mix certain things, so we go and buy it. That doesn't mean that it's good for us.
Yeah.
We should be eating whole food.
I
That's
want
what
you to just like
clean
cook
foods.
for me.
Yes, clean.
So if there was somebody arguing against the keto diet, you're saying everybody doesn't have to do keto. You don't think keto is the end all be all. You think eating clean is.
What? No, honey.
No? Okay,
I
I'm just-
think it's
I'm not
the
asking.
all be all.
Okay, bold words, bold words.
So you think everybody should be on a keto diet?
No, it's not that. Life doesn't work that way. You
Right.
know, I wish that we were still living outside, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
I do. If you want to do it, cool. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you do it, you have to do it in a smart way because you can actually hurt yourself
If you're doing it wrong.
doing it wrong. So why would people are lazy. They don't adhere to just the simplest of things. So that's why I tell people to not do it. I'll be like, I'll have consultations and tell people like, don't do this.
Mhm.
You're not ready.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm ready?
No.
That's all the dumb questions.
No.
I didn't ask.
It might be your
Because-
level of carbohydrate.
Wait, I want to hear her answer.
Because I can tell when someone is willing to do something, they're like, how do I start? What do I need to do?
Yes.
Like, I have autoimmunity. I've got issues. Like, I've got this, I've got that. Like, Steph, what do I need to do? And that's the angle you'd come at me. But maybe, perhaps when we're done with this talk, you'll be more curious because it's not just keto that's amazing. It's changing your whole life for optimal health. So optimal health is like, scientists are starting to theorize that your body using ketones, so blood sugar, what you guys don't understand is that we're eating foods out of season, we're eating foods that are genetically modified or genetically altered to have more sweet properties, carbohydrates, starches, and for every, say if you eat a bowl of broccoli, it's going to be about 3 or 4 carbs. Right? If you have a piece of bread, it's 33 grams of carbohydrate. So it's been crushed. So if you take a cracker and stick it in your mouth, it's going to melt. Correct? If for 5 minutes, you just keep it in there. But if you put broccoli in your mouth, which is actually not a food, it comes from cabbage, but it's genetically modified. But if you put a carrot or broccoli in your mouth, it'll sit there. So your body, the saliva, the amylase in your saliva has a hard time to break down and turn it into sugar. But a cracker, once it hits your mouth, it's already turning into sugar in your mouth. So by the time it hits your stomach, it doesn't have to be digested. So now the level, how quick that carbohydrate can hit the bloodstream is a quick spike. It's quick and in a large volume into the bloodstream. And then the pancreas, see, blood sugar is dangerous to the body. That's why people develop diabetes and the symptoms of diabetes, which is heart disease, liver disease, kidney failure, because they can't bring down that high elevated levels of sugar from the packaged foods that we eat.
I've told Aaron, and I've tried a lot of drugs and stuff. Sugar remains the most physically addicting thing I've ever come in contact with in my entire life. As someone that's even tried things that are apparently addictive.
For 2 weeks just to not have any sugar. I've
Yes,
done
I
a
did
month
for a
of
while.
no sugar,
Like a
and
year
then
ago I was on fire.
I didn't have the desire for sugar afterwards. Afterwards, I was it kind of almost not
Grossed you
disgusted
out.
me, but it was it was
because it was
I
so
don't eat
processed.
like that. Yeah. You got some comments over there.
Yeah, no, I was just listening to what you're saying about cutting sugar out. See, somebody wrote in big letters, how does skinny diabetic, implement a keto diet? Anybody who's diabetic anyone who's diabetic is going to do keto the same way as anyone else. There's no change in how you do it.
Is there a difference? Is it more effective for one gender versus another?
No.
Yeah.
No, people, the problem with women is they tend to have like hypothyroidism more than men. So hypothyroidism, see, your metabolism is regulated by a couple of things, but one thing is the thyroid. So when you don't get enough sleep and you don't eat properly, which is the blood sugar, if you eat a cracker, like I was explaining before, if you eat a cracker, that blood sugar can hit the carbs can convert into a substance that can hit the bloodstream very quickly.
Yeah.
And so the pancreas has to release insulin to get it out. It can understand things that are bitters, like greens that have low carbohydrate. So if you eat 5 grams of carbs, like a bowl of broccoli, you're going to release 5 grams of insulin, and you're going to easily take it out of the bloodstream. But once you have a sandwich and some juice, you're up to 80, 90 carbohydrates, so that the pancreas can't regulate that. It doesn't know how to do the math because it thinks we're living outside. It doesn't understand processed food.
Right.
So it oversecretes. Hold on one second. It oversecretes insulin, and so the problem is that the pancreas is vomiting out violently a lot of insulin. So over time, the pancreas doesn't work. So this is type 2 diabetes, where the insulin is being released, but the signal to get it out and get that glucose into the cells or into your fat cells, so it's going to go 2 places, into your muscles, into your cells for energy, the Krebs cycle for energy to move around, that sugar, or it's going to be partitioned off what it can't use to your fat cells, which is a whole nother conversation on why people get fat. People don't understand it's all about insulin. Okay, fat does not make you fat. It's all about the insulin release. So the insulin is going to also make muscles grow. So that's a whole nother subject. What you want is your pancreas to release a little bit of insulin that does a powerful job, rather than a pancreas that vomits out bolus amounts of insulin that doesn't do its job. So the sugar stays high, and as it pumps up and down, the arteries pump it up and then down to your feet, and then veins pump it back up, it starts to damage cells. So you won't know. It takes time for the damage of high blood sugar. Now, you don't even have to be diabetic. You could just run high. So I can test your guys' blood sugar, for example, and you're I can tell you if it's on the higher end of semi-normal. And if it is, it'll equate to whatever you're feeling. So people might go to the gym and I don't feel good today. I don't know why. Did the same thing. Well, your blood sugar could be running high or really low. So the question you had about, what was your last question?
I was talking about longevity, about doing keto for long term.
Exactly.
You were saying that or is it not for everybody? I think it was another one of my questions.
Well, it's for everyone.
Okay.
We all have the ability to produce ketones. So the propaganda is that ketones become acidic. That's BS. Okay. So type 1 diabetics don't release insulin. They don't. So there's type 1 and type 2. So a lot of people don't understand type 1. They don't make insulin. The pancreas won't work. The beta cells won't make insulin. Type 2 is what you do to yourself. Okay. Some people are that's in my family. I'm
So I also have a bunch of 3 questions from listeners that want to know about ketogenesis. A lot of them, some of them are not in keto. Some of them are using other forms of diets. Some are paleo, some are vegan, but they had different questions regarding certain things. One of the questions was nutrients. And one of the questions is, it's known that certain vitamins and minerals are mostly found in vegetables and fruits.
No, that's not true. The most nutrient-dense foods come from fat. So there's more vitamins and minerals in fatty parts of an animal than in fruit and vegetables combined 100 times.
Really? Vitamin C. That says
there's more vitamin C in the liver than there is in an orange.
Really? So it says a ketogenic diet limits the consumption of these foods. Do you need to supplement with certain nutrients to reach the vitamin and mineral needs?
It's an obsolete question, so
Yeah,
we already
so
know
no,
that.
yeah.
People don't understand. The big vitamins are vitamin D, E, A, and K, and that's in fatty meats.
Okay.
That's not in vegetables because you have all that fiber, right? So the nutrients, what you get in fruits and vegetables are the different colors. These are antioxidants, flavonoids, carotenoids, right?
Yeah.
So these are the antioxidants, but you can also get those in greens. So you can get your flavonoids and carotenoids in lower carbohydrate foods beyond fruits.
I knew she was going to answer this.
Yeah, so you eat vegetables on keto.
Yeah.
You eat more vegetables on keto than you would a normal standard American diet. It's the fruit, fructose.
That goes without saying.
Right?
There are no veggies in standard American diet.
There's no exactly.
Yeah.
So no, that question is just useless.
Okay, there's another one, diet diversity. So a lot of people using different types of diets like paleo, veganism, raw foods, there's a bunch. Do you think, and it seems a lot of people think each one of these diets that their body is going through an amazing transformation, they're feeling great, people have cured themselves from different things. Do you think everybody is different and does better with certain diet, or do you think the human body adapts to what you feed it and naturally returns to health as long as you feed it healthy food? Or do you think keto is for everyone? You already answered keto for everyone.
Well, we are almost the same, almost have the same type of genetic profile as a rat and a mouse. That's why we use them.
Right.
So the genetic variance between humans is so infinitesimally small that we are essentially the same unless you have like genetic mutation or your epigenetics, which is changing the structure of your DNA to be more like superhuman. Like Michael Phelps can eat 10,000 calories, and what happens when you eat carbohydrates, you're going to store it as fat because your glycogen, this gas tank is in your muscle. So you can only store so much energy in muscle. And then what's left over goes to your fat cells. Via insulin, because insulin is the driver to carry something into your fat cells. Michael Phelps has the ability to have triglycerides go into fat cells and release it back as sugar. And probably less than 1% of the planet can do that.
Wow.
So he can keep converting his carbs, the overconsumption, back into a substrate that his body can continue to use. He can clear out the glucose, but he can't clear out the insulin. So he will get damaged no matter what. Even though he doesn't get fat, he will get damaged from all the insulin. Yeah, because too much insulin also damages cells. So it's called advanced glycation end product. They call it AGEs because it damages your cells. So what is aging? It's the destruction of your cells. It's them dying. That's what you don't want to happen. So your DNA is on a chain, like a shoestring. And on the ends is the plastic, it's called telomeres. And that's what holds your DNA together. So when you start to look in the mirror and see that I'm aging, it's because those plastic caps pop off, and then the shoestring begins to fray, and then you begin to age. So, that's why keto, longevity, should keto be for everyone? Because people have developed so many illnesses, and we all have them, some type of problem, down to the thyroid, to your reproductive hormones. Men, testosterone is a big problem that's plummeting, and there are reasons for that. Yeah. Men losing their hair. There are more men losing their hair. They don't understand the whole concept between estrogen and dihydrotestosterone.
My hair is thinning too.
But you can stop it, and it's really interesting. Yeah, how you can, preserve the hair follicles just by having knowledge. Things like how you feel, energy, skin, collagen, all of these things become damaged through the modern human's lazy diet of wanting to eat things quick and throw it in the mouth.
So eating peanut butter corn puffs while watching a movie late at night and shoving it in my mouth, not a good move?
Not a good move. And I've watched Aaron's Instagram stories.
I moved from peanut butter filled pretzels to peanut butter corn puffs. So,
I'm all of us in this.
I'm doing better.
He's doing better.
Less carbs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, these guys are younger than me, so right now you're just considering aging. But when you're 50...
Looks like she could be my daughter.
I know.
Mine too. Yeah.
when you get older, so it's easy for me to do this dietary measure because you can take pictures of me 15 years ago and I look older then.
Wow.
Because I was doing like a low calorie diet, low fat. So you could start to see like my skin was dry, my skin would itch in the winter time, my back was always itching.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough fat in my diet, so people don't understand that fat is for the brain. The brain's mostly fat. Your reproductive hormones are made out of fat. Your skin.
What is the itching? So I know a lot of friends who, but not only from dry, like a lot of friends that I have.
Candida.
You think that's the only thing that it could be?
Candida.
Really? Candida is such a magic
Talk
term.
about
No, it's
it.
not. No, it's not.
No?
It's
Okay.
a fungus, and it can proliferate the bloodstream and go to all your cells and make you itch.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
If the candida makes you itch.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes your
Didn't know.
butthole itch.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, that
There
explains
explains it from I have a couple more from people. That's okay. If I can ask you like two more.
Sure.
Is that all right? Hi guys, what's going on? There's another one. There's the whole thing. Okay, you can go back. I'm just going to paraphrase what they're saying. You can go back 2.5 million years and you see that the bulk of human beings have lived on a lot of starch-based diets.
That's not true.
That's what I'm about to say, and it's against what a lot of
I'm
keto
sorry.
diets say. And this person said that a lot of calories were from starch, such as the Aztecs to the Mayans, which is corn, Incas, potatoes, and quinoa, populations of the Middle East and the breadbaskets of the world, and Asia, rice.
These are not hunter-gatherers. These
They're not
people
hunter-
settled in one area and
They're
started
settled.
agriculture.
Okay.
We're hunter-gatherers. Our bodies are designed to be nomadic tribes, not to
Not to
and start
settle.
farming.
Going off the starches though, what about brown rice? Come on.
It's garbage.
No, what?
Well, thank God, because it tastes like shit. So
I
now
like-
let's
I like
get
brown
that
rice.
out of
Don't
the
like
way.
it anymore.
Wow.
Stick
you
to the
brown
white rice,
I was like, I bet that's the one
Let me ask you a
carb
question,
she'll
honey.
say is okay. But ask away. I'm
I
an
just
open
have to pull out my
book.
black side every once in a while.
Listen,
Otherwise, I'm like,
girl.
"This sounds
No,
so
yeah,
nice and
no.
fabulous."
It helps
Yeah.
get my attention. so.
Okay. So essentially, why do Asians not eat brown rice?
I don't know. Don't ask me that.
But isn't that
I'm gonna
kinda
stay in
weird?
my lane.
Isn't that kind of weird?
I
Kinda
didn't know
funky,
they
right?
didn't. I didn't know they
Have
didn't.
you ever been to like to these like Indian, Thai,
They never eat
and they're like
brown rice, yeah.
they're sitting there eating brown rice themselves? No.
Well, white rice
Is
is
it just
polished
like-
off, right? It's
bleached.
It's bleached.
So basically the problem is the shell of the brown rice is an anti-nutrient, just like I said. And it's really toxic to the body. Now the meat of the brown rice has a lot of nutrient value to it, but the shell of it is toxic to a human's body. So they bleach it to break down the anti-nutrients of the shell, and that's the reason why Asians eat white rice.
So wait,
Yeah.
white rice is better for me than brown rice is my
Yeah.
takeaway.
That is right.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question,
Okay.
and this one actually
You're
is
going.
something that I kind of agree with a little
Okay.
bit, but I don't know the validity of this question, so I want to come to you because you're the expert. I'm not. Carbon footprint. It's a big thing for everybody nowadays. We're recycling. We're buying a bunch of Priuses that are making the roads look ugly.
There's a lot of methane in the beef in this. one.
So I'm saying a high meat diet has two and a half times more of a carbon footprint than a vegan diet would. So a high meat diet is 15.8 pounds of carbon a day, as opposed to a vegan diet, which is 6.4 pounds of carbon a day.
First
What is
of
the
all,
answer to that
honey,
one?
we
Jeez,
didn't
roll
eat
your
a lot
eyes.
of meat. We ate the fat, which does not have a carbon footprint. Okay.
Okay.
Go to Asia. They still eat those foods, high in nutrients.
But what do we
ate
do with the rest of the
brains.
animal?
Oh, we feed it to the dogs.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
and there's no carbon footprint on that.
I know.
Okay.
Muscle meat has methionine. That's the problem.
Okay.
Too much muscle meat. So,
shit.
which is a problem.
That's
So
all I eat.
we know like chicken breast and
Yeah.
tuna garbage. Yeah, we ate the fatty parts of the animal. So boom, right there.
So the muscle meat that we're consuming is causing the carbon footprint. But what's the
Yes.
difference between us consuming it and a animal consuming it? How is that changing the carbon footprint?
We're not dogs.
But I'm saying, you're saying the excrement.
You ever
that
seen
we're
a lion?
causing?
What does a lion eat first?
Like the liver and
face.
the-
That's right. They eat the organs
Yeah.
because without those nutrients, they get sick. They have a hard time reproducing.
Ah,
So you can't eat a lot of plants because plants have anti-nutrients and they can make you sick and they
Okay.
make people sick. You can't just eat a bunch of plants out of season, and raw.
yeah.
Like people get bloated, they have a hard time digesting. These plant source foods, people have the vegetables end up in their poop. Their poops are floating. They have leaky gut, which should be another subject, right, guys?
Leaky gut.
Poop shouldn't float.
Leaky gut. I think that causes a lot of things in life. Leaky gut.
Yeah, so a lot of you guys out there have leaky gut, you have candida. This is holes in the gut wall in your small intestine. So essentially when you eat bread, when you eat grains, when you eat dairy, things that agitate the gut wall, you have these things called tight junctions in your small intestine, and they open up through eating. That's what bread does. And so you think that you don't have celiacs or weak gluten intolerance, we all do. It's at different varying levels. And so those holes can make it now so food particles get into the bloodstream more easily because there's now open holes in the gut wall. And then the body can't understand it, so it begins to attack itself. Whoa. So all autoimmunity, you can point a finger to this leaky gut, which a lot of doctors think that that's some kind of psychological thing. So we're talking bloated, gas, low testosterone, cancer, lupus, like any type of autoimmunity, multiple sclerosis, the diabetes, all health issues can go right to the gut, the central place where your immune system is. So we have white and red blood cells, but really the immune system is below your belly button, and people don't think about that. So when you're like, I'm gonna have a spot,
Wow.
There
was so bad. Go ahead.
So how much meal prep do you have to personally do? Because now I'm picturing your fridge like stacked with liver and like fucking kidney and stuff. I don't know if I can curse on your YouTube channel, by the way. But...
Can we curse on your channel? Are we allowed to?
What?
Are we allowed to curse on your YouTube channel?
Well, the only thing is that, with all the YouTube weirdness, like if you swear, they'll tag it. They'll tag your channel. Oops. So I stop swearing and I start saying.
But you're our podcast, so listen. Break that curse.
No, so do you mostly do meal prep? I feel like a fully keto diet is super hard to accommodate here. Like not just in LA, in America. Like, no,
poverty's hard.
Well, yeah, but I mean like. right. That's the thing. It's hard to afford the keto diet. Is what you're saying? No,
it's more expensive. I mean, first of all, you're gonna get sick. How many people? For example, Aaron.
Not bad. Aaron's messing up the whole podcast, right?
It's all good. So Aaron.
Yes.
Right here.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You guys recognize Aaron from what were you on? Gossip Girl? He was on Gossip Girl. Remember him? The Russian dude?
Comments.
He was on Gossip Girl, you guys.
Nah. Oh, there we go.
You guys should go check out Aaron. He was on Gossip Girl. Okay. I know their stuff.
Pay my bills, people.
He was on the Vampire Show. What's the other one?
What's it called?
The
Originals.
Oh, the first episode of The Originals? He was there, the guy.
I was in Heavyweights. There we go.
Heavyweights.
He's a child actor. Okay, what else have you been in?
Heavyweights. There's a big
Heavyweights.
Mighty Ducks. Come on, sell it.
Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2.
Oh. There we
go.
You gotta Google Aaron's
commercial space on that one.
Yeah, you gotta Google him, guys. It's really cool. Okay, so back to what you're saying. Sorry.
Yes.
I was saying yes. How much meal prep and like how easy is it to accommodate that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, is it virtually all meal prep, or are you able to go to Starbucks and find something keto, or you know what I mean?
Okay, so there's no easy answer for everything.
Sure.
A lot of people have a thing called leaky gut, which they develop a histamine response. So they develop allergies. And so those people have a more difficult time to meal prep because anything that grows bacteria on it, you react. So people might have seasonal allergies, they might have sinus infections, and it could be from bacteria on food. So really with certain populations, eating fresh cooked foods and meats is really advantageous to healing that gut wall. But if you don't have that problem, which I don't have that problem, then I'm able to go and meal prep. So I'll take 2 days out of the week, especially meats. Meats grow a lot of bacteria on them. So if you guys do have a bacterial sensitivity to histamine from animal sources, you can cook it, freeze it. But I don't have to cook and freeze. I can cook. Bam. So you could do let's say free range chicken legs or wings or drums or thighs, and you bake it and just spray it with coconut oil or whatever.
Sounds good.
And spice it, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator, or I'll do grass-fed beef patties, and I'll do a ton because I don't like to come home and have to start cooking fresh. Yeah. So I tend to cook the vegetables fresh because I just saute it really quick. So if I have spinach or broccoli, I'll just break down the anti-nutrients. That goes really quick to have some veggies like on the pan.
And you just saute it in olive oil?
Yeah.
Or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, no, not olive oil, more like avocado oil because it's more stable than olive oil.
Okay.
And I'll have some avocado and a ton of butter and I'm good.
Huh.
Done.
Butter. See that again? I'm like, wait, that doesn't seem
that's
intuitive.
counterproductive.
I'm like, that sounds so fatty.
But
it's
your
a
body's
very good
eating
fat.
that fat and doing I get it.
Yeah.
What about sexuality? And let's talk about sexuality in the keto diet. Like, what does that do for hormones in women and men?
Okay, I just want to answer the question to the audience. Somebody asked, what podcast is this? What is it, guys?
It's called Gay Straight Debate.
Gay Straight Debate. You can find it on Spreaker. It's you can go also to Gay Straight Debate on Instagram, and you'll find us. Or you can look for me or Julian. Jewel Goza. What is
Jules Goza, Julz Goza on Instagram.
And I'm Aaron Schwartz, AARON SCHWARTZ 11 on Instagram, and we have a connection to that podcast as well.
Yeah, so for those who want to go and check out this podcast or just the guys.
That was for you at home too.
I was thinking that too.
Now you know. Now you know where to check
And
it
our email is gaystraightdebate. That's GAYSTR8DEBATE
Yeah, that also goes for Stephanie's viewers. If you have any questions for us that you want to hear us hash out on our podcast, email us at that email address. Yeah.
Okay, so I just had to answer that question because I see that pop up a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying?
Oh, so sexuality and keto. What does it do for hormones in men and women, and how does it improve sexuality, and does it not improve sexuality in any way?
It's very interesting because you're saying sexuality.
I mean,
sexual energy.
Sexuality could be an emotional thing too. I'm talking about physiological sexuality, like reproductive organs, and let's say there's erectile dysfunction issues in people. Let's say women are having problems with arousal, and it's physiological. What does ketogenesis do for that?
Okay, so this is also because I first thought you meant like actual sexuality, which there are theories about why people become
gay or queer.
Yeah, based on too many xenoestrogens and
really?
in the
food.
we got a lot. We are estrogen out.
That's a completely different one, but that's go.
I did have a lot of estrogen.
But I mean, I'm talking about actual hormones.
Okay. So essentially, if foods can be toxic to the body. So, for example, people who do low-fat diets, they don't understand that your sex hormones are made out of cholesterol, 100%. So that's another subject. It's not cholesterol that plaques the arteries. It's actually LDL, which is a protein. It's low-density lipoprotein. Cholesterol is actually an antioxidant. So when you don't get enough saturated fat in your diet, you don't have enough building material for testosterone. So essentially men's testosterone drops exponentially. So I have a lot of guys that I work with that go on a keto diet and all of a sudden they got a boner again. It's like boing.
All the LDLs popping in there.
Well,
not the LDLs,
the cholesterol.
The good cholesterol.
Yeah. It's just cholesterol. Cholesterol's just good. Yeah. So that's a big problem with people eating too low fat. Things are made out of fat, guys. Our brain is mostly made out of fat. Babies are born slightly in ketosis because mother's milk is mostly fat, saturated fat. And so that's the problem with the sex hormones dropping now. There's also not moving, there's like not enough protein, there's not enough zinc and other nutrients within the foods because our food is devoid of nutrients. Like all the, chromium, magnesium, potassium, iron, like all of these things, the B complex, vitamin D, A, and K, so we are nutrient void. So we're not getting enough building material as far as things that will boost our glutathione, which is the internal antioxidant. So that's why the quality of food, the timing of your food, the digestion, if you have leaky gut, you don't absorb nutrients. A lot of people have got food in their stool or bloated when they eat. They're not absorbing. Caffeine can also make you devoid of absorbing nutrients because it's a diuretic, so you're peeing out a lot of stuff.
Speaking of caffeine, just to interrupt for 1 second, there's also the bulletproof diet, which a lot of people use in conjunction with keto, and you're saying that's not a good move to take.
No, caffeine is garbage.
There's a bulletproof coffee that a lot of people use in their keto diets.
Dave Ashbury, good businessman.
Yeah.
Love you, Dave. Smart.
But bulletproof
businessman, you smart. Dave, you all addicted to the coffee. Brilliant, bro.
Yep.
Caffeine stimulates the adrenals to pump out adrenaline, which stifles hunger, because like when you run in from a lion, you are not going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's that adrenal barf out, right?
So when I have my morning coffee, I'm running from a lion?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes, which can also lower testosterone. Because it's tapping into a thing, your cortisol. When too high cortisol will also, which is another reason why testosterone is low.
You don't have a problem with that.
It's addictive.
I love
No,
it.
but I like it.
Yeah.
It's addictive. So cortisol can rob from your sex hormone tree, which is called pregnenolone, obviously. So pregnenolone, DHEA, these are substrates to make your sex hormones. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. It's when you run from a lion, how long is that going to take? If you're running from a lion.
Until it must be probably about the way I'm running these days, probably about 3 seconds.
Yes.
But
Not
3
longer than
seconds.
15.
Yeah.
Not longer than 10.
Yeah.
Not longer than
So
8.
you're either going to make it to safety or it's going to get you. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
how long you should have a bolus amount of adrenaline. But when you drink coffee, it's in your system for 8, 9, 10 hours. That means your body's running from a lion the whole time. So it's forcing your adrenals to pump out, produce energy it doesn't have. That's the problem.
damn,
Yeah.
got something popped up over there.
Yeah, I forgot to mute my
Stephanie,
phone.
I want to hire you as a daily consultant. Like I want you to come at the start of every week and just make all my meals and then be like,
But it's not just the food. It's the lifestyle.
I know.
Circadian rhythm. It's how you breathe.
I know.
She
Right?
was talking, okay, you don't go to the
Posture.
gym past 2 p.m. There's a reason for that.
Yes, I don't go to the gym past 2 p.m. because there's a light switch, right? So the sun's starting to go down, and so you have cortisol, which is the wake up hormone. Cortisol is supposed to wake your ass up, and then you have melatonin, which is supposed to put you to sleep. But we have it inverted. So you have too much cortisol at night, that's what you have, which disrupts sleep patterns.
That's why I'm all fucked up.
Yes, your cortisol is super high, and that's
Really?
it's too late now.
Interesting.
So my
what you said one
cortisol level is
time
super
is-
high. That's why
yeah.
this little belly fat, I have to run my ass off to get rid of it.
Yeah, so that means your insulin is high.
Okay.
Insulin's high, that makes you store. So it's all about the insulin. That's what makes you
It's
fat.
making you nervous for me right now.
Well, no, because everything she's saying applies to me. I'm like, I have a shitload of insulin right now in my body, and I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cortisol. It's cortisol.
Read up on
Or cortisol.
follow her,
That's
read up
pretty
on her
serious.
stuff. She has like articles. She follow her channel. Like she explains a lot of it, and you do like live talks and stuff like
I
that.
do live talks. I just came back from a thing called the Paleo FX. It's like the largest non-conventional health conference ever.
Yeah.
And like all these awesome doctors that, I was able to be on a panel with some of my favorite like people who are,
I started
Got
following
running
the
stuff.
woman that you that.
Nora Gagaris.
Oh yeah, she's got some interesting stuff.
yeah,
Cool.
she's smart. She's
Yeah.
a smart woman. Yeah, so the thing is when I was on the panel with those guys, see, they're so, Nora's amazing. She's amazing, but she's kind of like this from her audience, whereas I dive right in.
Right.
So we all had to announce ourselves. They're like, I've got this PhD and blah, 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 and
Yeah.
and I'd be like, well, I'm a high school graduate.
Yeah.
But I said,
Former skateboarder.
former skateboarder. I said,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I stood up because we're on these stools. I go, I'm almost 51. And they're like,
Crazy.
done. Like, so.
Yeah, my collagen's out of whack, man. You're inspiring me right now.
Yeah,
Well,
I gotta
collagen,
fix this.
tons of stuff.
See it.
So well,
Yeah,
that's
inflammation, skin quality,
well, let's use.
how your gut, how many times you poop, the quality
Aaron,
of
hand
your
me my
poop.
checkbook, would you?
How
The
do
more
we-
you like
wait,
nitpick everything about it, I'm like, yes.
So that's a
Yeah.
great way to kind of wrap it all up. Is one great
Oh,
thing.
wait, hold on, real quick.
Sure.
Okay.
I just want to say with women, because
Yeah.
I just didn't mention when
You
I was
didn't-
talking
Oh
about
yeah,
men.
yeah.
I just want to say very
Women's
quickly
health and-
that women tend to be estrogen dominant. So we can deal with estrogen more than men, but it equates to things like cancer, breast cancer. So when nurses and OBGYNs put women on on the pill and all these hormone releasing things, which is another subject about testosterone, men trying to do testosterone, hormone
Taking tests, yeah.
growth, all a mess, hot mess.
Ugh.
But women tend to be more estrogen dominant, and this what drives also your testosterone to drop or hair follicles to have a problem is high levels of blood sugar, which kill the follicles because it damages cells. So all these things mess up hormones when your blood sugar is dysregulated. So when you eat a carb, it's like it just liquefies, goes to your bloodstream, blood sugar shoots up, slams down, and your body can't get back to baseline to be in balance anymore. And that's when you start to have all these hiccups, like you start to develop the infections or sleep problems or the back pain.
Yeah.
So these are cells irritated because of, what you're doing. So I just want to say that with the women, that women tend to be estrogen dominant these days. So things like cellulite, where women, thinking about vanity and the pear shape of women like small waist but big hips. This is estrogen dominance, and this also comes from all the things that men go through, like the wrong foods, wrong sleep, toxins held in the body, blood sugar dysregulation. Poor sleep is the biggest one.
Poor sleep is
So
huge.
it's too bad we can't go more into these subjects. Maybe we'll have to finish it another time, like how to regulate sleep, how to regulate your hormones.
Well, on the
your
sleep subject,
gallbladder,
the blue light, there's a whole thing with the blue light. Let's just real quick talk about that. So you one time told me, like, you have a problem with your sleep, stay away from the screens, stay away from this screen, stay away from your phone, stay away from the iPad, stay away from the TV. A couple hours before you go to sleep, read a book, turn off the light.
Well, you don't really read right before you go to sleep, because that requires focus. And we're developing eye problems because you're having things right next to your eyes.
Right.
We're supposed to be looking beyond yonder. So we're having eye strain. That releases cortisol. So cortisol is an inflammatory hormone when there's too much of it. So what I do to get people prepared to sleep to a circadian rhythm, which is day and night cycles, is to do like showers and anything where it requires movement. Do that in the earlier part of the evening if you're not working. And that's also eating food, because when you eat food, it takes so much work to digest food. That also can be an inflammatory response. Also, you don't digest fully at night because your body's trying to hibernate. So people have undigested food in their stomach, which putrefies or acidifies while you sleep, which also raises the cortisol, which prevents you from sleeping.
Putrefies in the gut. Yeah.
Yep.
So just to wrap it all up real quick, what is the best way to, how do I phrase this? How would you suggest people who are interested in keto and wanted to start keto, and it can be a cumbersome project to all of a sudden take up? How do you suggest to start it up and make it easy on your average Joe to start doing keto, and to look where to look, what to do? What's the best way to go about it to make it a sustainable project?
I think people have to not be afraid of fat, because it's a high fat diet. So people are trying to do like the bulletproof thing that you mentioned before, which is just a total scam. But which it creates rebounding problems. But essentially, if you up your fat, you need all these digestive properties to break it down. Long chain fats take a couple of hours. In the process of your body releasing bile salts from the gallbladder, stomach acid, all of pepsin, all these things are peptides, are going to help slowly break down the fat so it can get into the bloodstream. In that time period, you're not hungry. So if you eat a piece of bread, it goes, and then you're hungry again. So, and that also creates that centers of the brain when you're craving more. Because your energy is low and your glycogen's depleted. So if you start with high fat. So I say to people, start with 200 grams of fat, primarily coming from animal fat. Make sure that you don't have problems with your gallbladder, which comes from high estrogen, not moving enough. You can start to have gallbladder stones or sludge from just not being active enough. And also make sure you don't have low stomach acid. A lot of people who drink coffee, alcohol, stress, poor foods will develop low stomach acid. So they think that they're having high stomach acid because they're feeling acid reflux. But it's actually low. It's like your stomach having a reverse fart. It slams up the acid and it hits your throat. So then people do acid lowering drugs and pills to lower the stomach acid, and it just perpetuates the problem. So when people try to eat high fat, they have a hard time digesting it. So they might feel nauseous or discomfort because they don't realize they have underlying health issues prior to doing keto. So you want to just check to see what's going on. You might want to do a gallbladder flush. You might want to encourage things like don't eat your food fast and don't drink water, because if you drink water, you're going to neutralize the acid. Like your stomach must be acid like crazy, because that's going to protect you from pathogens and bacteria to grow all over the entire body. The stomach acid protects you. That's why people don't understand caffeine and Tums and
it's messing with that stomach acid.
It's messing with that stomach acid. So make sure that you have enough stomach acid, or encourage it to regulate itself. Gallbladder, and also you eat fatty meats, not lean meats. And your vegetables can be within 2 handfuls, which is about 2 cups measured raw before cooked, of the cruciferous family, which is the green family, fibrous. Because the reason why you want to keep your carbs low is to not the carb sugar addicted brain that tells you that you like sugar or coffee or whatever. Your cells tell your brain what to think. It doesn't go the inverse. It's not your brain telling your body what to think. Not with cravings.
Right.
So what you want to do is keep your carb count low to like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, asparagus, cabbage. These are low in carbohydrate, high in fiber. So you don't have a high blood sugar response. If the brain senses that sugar is back, it won't adapt. It'll take fat from your body and convert it into a gasoline that can enter the brain. And when you do cardio and you think you're burning fat, you're not, because you're burning muscle, right? When you're doing fasted cardio, you burn muscle. You're not in ketosis. My body, when I'm fasted, understands how to go to the fat cells and convert it into ketones and then use it. So when people first try the keto diet, they expect it to happen right away, and it doesn't. You have to develop enzymes to even convert fat into ketones.
It takes a process, and you go through something called keto flu, which
Some
is your
do.
body, some do, some don't,
Yeah.
which is your body converting.
No, keto flu is people just doing it wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they will go from like McDonald's to dropping their carbs overnight.
Right.
They don't drink enough water. So for every one bite of a carb that you eat, that your body holds on to 4 bites of water. So 1 gram of carbs will make your body hold on to 2.8 to 4 grams of water.
God.
So that's why people are all watery all the time. So when you do keto, but carbohydrate, listen to the words. So when you cut your starches and sugars down, your body drops all that water too quickly. And then you develop headaches because you're not drinking enough water and enough sodium, potassium, potassium-rich foods like spinach, magnesium. The soils are depleted, so you need to do, like I said, a magnesium supplement, not bananas. But the reason why people run to banana, because that sugar, that fructose, is going to bring that water back to the cell. And then you can access that potassium, it'll stay.
It's easier to access.
Yes, but there's more potassium in avocado or spinach than there is in a banana. So it's people doing keto the wrong way that creates the keto flu. Like, don't do it overnight. Do it over 2 weeks. Cut out the bread and go to sweet potato or white rice in small amounts. Start raising your fats. So you start with
That white rice thing saved me. I love it.
Yeah.
I hate brown rice.
Yeah, and quinoa is very toxic too. That's a whole other subject.
Really?
Quinoa, really?
Yeah, it's really toxic. It's high in phytates.
Wow.
High in protective.
Yeah, it's got a lot of protein, so it's like, but it's still incomplete because it's plant protein. Plant proteins are incomplete. That's another subject.
Yeah.
But with that said, keto, the reason why people should do keto is that if they have skin issues, if they have energy crisis, if they have low libido, body composition, fat, can't sleep, can't digest the foods well, it's a really great protocol because you have to do it slowly. At least my protocol is like, you go online and you hear about cheese and nuts, I cut that out. Because a lot of people have underlying sensitivities to these foods they're not aware of.
Yeah.
And they start pounding foods that they're sensitive to, and then that's why keto doesn't work.
For them.
Or their protein is too
It might be
really
within
fast.
the realm of protein to carb intake, but it's still ingesting stuff that's not good for their body.
For their body. And so, going clean, even on the types of quasi-keto foods, will prevent the keto flu. So there's just certain things that people need to consider when they do it, and then they can avoid almost all the symptoms of a keto flu if they have the right knowledge. But you go online and people are trying to make money off of it now, so they're like promising you the world. I could go and tell people, follow Stephanie's 90-day weight loss program, and I would be a billionaire.
You should do it.
No.
Because they're going to come back after
10%. Let's get it going.
I know, right?
Let's get it going. I can help you with this business.
You can't, I could do that. Very low body fat percentage, and so that's a whole nother subject, how keto can access your fat cells, which are hard to access, but you actually have to adapt first to be able. That's why it's a weight loss diet. But people aren't losing weight because their insulin is high. Because stress produces sugar without eating one drop. So when you're stressed, your body breaks down muscle and converts it into sugar in 3 minutes. That's catabolic, and that's your body breaking down, and that's why we feel sick, and that's why we get colds and flus.
And that's
because
why I
our
don't
immune
got my
system is low.
6-pack.
How much do I have to pay you, Stephanie, to eat a slice of chocolate cake?
Well, you could do things like, I make everything. First of all, I'm writing a book, so
A cookbook?
Well, it's got a lot of recipes in it.
Cool.
Yeah, but essentially you can make substitutes.
Okay.
So if I verbally explain it, it's like, that, hippie, tree loving sounds boring. But if I make it and people eat it, they're like, damn,
That's
awesome.
good, like, what's up? So you could use cacao butter, which is white chocolate, which doesn't have the mold on it, or the caffeine. Cacao. And you could make a pie or a cake or cookies or muffins or pancakes.
I'm buy this book.
Yeah, me too. I'm buying it. So, Steph, one more time
Yes.
for the audience.
Yes.
Where can they find you if they want to ask you questions, if they want to just stalk you and look at your abs, because a lot of people do that too.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
I do.
If they want to ask questions,
They're from far looking at her
they should probably go to my live broadcast, which I'm doing now, which I'm going to answer some of these questions really
Is this
quick.
going to be airing, because we're going to be airing this tomorrow, today, guys, don't listen to me, but is it going to be airing tomorrow? Is it going to still be on?
It depends if you want it. I can put it to private or I can have it aired now.
Can you put it to public? That way our audience could also watch it?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
For
our
sure.
audience could also watch it. So
sure.
where can they see this? What channel?
You can go to Stephanie Keto Person,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be playing immediately as soon as I am done with this.
Awesome.
And
It's on YouTube, guys. You can check
yeah,
that
it's
out.
on YouTube. So you can catch me at my website, which is stephanieperson.com. If you have questions, you can go to live broadcast. Otherwise, I'm doing a Facebook keto course. You guys,
Cool.
I do a keto course. It's a subscription-based course on Facebook. You have to sign up on my site, though. You can't just go.
Just go on Facebook.
No.
Oh, gotcha.
And there I answer questions, but to the public at large, it's getting to be
Too much.
thousands of questions. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, once in a while, you guys can ask us questions on keto, and I can maybe filter out and ask Steph a couple
Yes.
questions. It might be a shortcut. So hit us up too, and she might tell me no.
Yeah.
But I'll still try it.
You can also go to my Instagram or Stephanie the business person on my Facebook. So I will post a lot of information about, like, just free information.
Great.
Or my channel.
Great.
Or you can go to Aaron.
Or just go. Aaron Schwartz 11 on Instagram. It's Aaron Schwartz 11 on Instagram. Julian Goza.
Yeah, it's Jules Goza, JULZGOZA. And again, guys, please email us questions at gaystraightdebate@gmail.com. That's GAYSTR8DEBATE @gmail.com. Or follow our podcast on Instagram at GAYSTR8DEB8 on Instagram.
Stephanie, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank
That was
you.
informative and awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Can I get one bam?
Bam!
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna eat a banana now.
Awesome. On that. Peace out.
Peace.
We can keep this going.
Yeah, I'm gonna
if you
ask
want
I'm gonna answer the fans' questions really
Yeah,
quick.
sure.
Okay, guys.
That was
We got 77 people in the chat. Do you have questions? Because I know you're just looking at the side of my face the whole time. So I'm back for like 10 minutes of questions. We got 74 people in the thing. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Let me see.
How's that
We
drink
got-
wine back?
You're anemic. Okay, you're anemic and you're thinking that your body's not absorbing iron. What can you do to fix that? Okay, so Dina, red meat. It's gonna raise your hemoglobin levels within 20 minutes of eating red meat. Bloody. Get some grass-fed bloody meat, and that will help your hemoglobin problems and your iron immediately. Okay, bubbly pea, that's protein loss. So kadik, that's protein loss. How to make keto rash go away. So keto rash is candida overload. So you can use things like monolaurin, which is great. Or you could do lauricidin, which is really, really great to get rid of the keto rash. So you're having candida spores leave from the liver onto the skin. Obviously doing a ketogenic protocol the right way. You guys, everybody's got candida. You want to fix the gut wall. That's where the candida is coming from. All right. We got 71 people in the chat.
People are asking about candida. Yeah, man. What's up with that candida?
What's up with that?
The candida is messing us up, and we need to stop with the candida. Stop that candida.
Candida.
Stop it in its tracks.
Yes, it's really nasty. It makes you brain foggy. But yeah, a ketogenic protocol is going to lower those candida spores, but like things like monolaurin, which don't break up the biofilms. The problem is the biofilms, guys. Okay, how can you get your cat what? Your cat to stop humping my leg.
It's all that keto you doing. They like it. Oh, no, stop.
Okay, wait. Food source. Yeah, give more magnesium. I'm sorry, you guys. Unfortunately, our foods are really depleted of magnesium, so it's probably better to do. You can do magnesium transdermal spray, or you can take an oral glycinate magnesium. Can you pound out the likes, guys? There's 72 people in the chat and only 46 likes. Give Steph some thumb love so more people can see.
Show those
this
abs, girl.
broadcast.
Show those abs. Show some abs.
Okay, wait.
Here, ready?
Hold on, wait.
Do like an there we go. Check those abs out.
Wait, go back.
Oh, I gotta go back.
Yeah, wait.
Look at that. Now you got some likes.
Right? It's all fuzzy. I don't like this camera.
Woo! This girl is 50 years old. That's crazy.
Okay,
50.
50. I'm almost 51.
5-0.
Okay.
And I kick.
Kidney issues. Okay. A lot of people think that kidney and liver, you can't do keto if you've got kidney and liver issues. That is not true. It actually can help kidney disease because, again, you're not eating foods high in protein. They are fatty meats, especially organ meats. People who've got kidney issues, supplements, magnesium glycinate, or you can do magnesium spray or gel. Put it on the bottom of your feet to absorb into the skin because that stuff is stingy, wingy. Citrate's gonna help you poop more, and I would do glycinate to be honest. If you chose a general magnesium. Physical signs of being fat adapted. I'm sorry, you guys. My Droid, I gotta go into the settings and stop it from manually trying to focus. But signs of being fat adapted would be sustained energy. So you don't have any dips. You're not hungry ever. And you start to not lose muscle when you're working out because, again, you're not breaking down muscle to feed the brain. So you start to, like me, I started gaining weight and started to lean out when I was fully adapted. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, physical signs. Wait, no, where is the blah, blah, blah. Any other questions, you guys? Look, there's only 56 thumbs. Come on, y'all, give me some love.
Show my abs?
Show it. Aaron's gonna
They're not
show
that
that.
great. They got a little. But look at that.
He actually goes sometimes where he's really ripped, so we got to get him back on the train.
I'm not that bad. I'm a little.
No, you're not bad, but I've seen you more ripped. Anyway, yes, you can do keto if you have hypothyroidism. Now, a lot of people who develop the symptoms of hypothyroidism, which is somebody or Aaron sent me some propaganda about you can't do keto because your hair starts falling out. The falling out of your hair is from hypothyroidism. That's a pre-existing problem that you had before, and you're doing keto the wrong way, which is not enough fat, not graduating yourself into keto. These things are going to exacerbate the problems of hypothyroidism and your hair falling out. So you want to make sure. So you want to make sure that your stress is down. You're not going into gluconeogenesis. If you have if you're hypoglycemic, you might want to eat fat every couple of hours so your blood sugar doesn't dip. It's just really getting your macros down, guys, and getting sleep and getting your stress down so you're not going into gluconeogenesis. What's my advice on writing the hypoglycemia? Okay, so if you have hypoglycemia, you might want to start with a breakfast, or start with a fatty meat that's going to stabilize your blood sugar, and then you can do a fatty tea the mid-morning, and then you have a lunch, and then you might do another fatty tea in the afternoon, maybe with a little ground turkey, so it's easier to digest. And then you're going to do dinner, and then you're going to have a fatty tea later on at night to stabilize your blood sugar so you don't have a cortisol reaction, which is hypoglycemic in the middle of the night, waking you up. Probiotics.
Got a banana.
No, I'm already getting a rash from that. Fructose rash. You should take selenium with your iodine. Okay, and zinc. And make sure you get enough sun to get the D. Let me see. Well, I didn't see your question. You're saying you're going gonzo? Look, gonzo, I get 500 questions at once, so I'm not ignoring it. Write in big caps. Write in big caps. I only got 5 more minutes, guys, and then I gotta go because I'm gonna chill with the homies for a minute. We're gonna have to talk about this podcast that we just did with the gay and straight debate. Is that
She's
right?
going live.
She's going live
on her show. It's a YouTube channel. You could actually watch us.
Yes.
On the YouTube channel too, right?
Yes.
I can't get her off my case. Stephanie Ketogenic. Person.
What's up? Okay. We're only at 61 thumbs. Come on, guys. Give me a little bit more thumbs. This girl's working really hard. I'm against the whole keto community because they have you eating cheese and nuts and all
Can we get a thumb?
See,
what
what about the veggies? Onions. Okay, so garlic is fine. Leek, spring onions, bulb onions, like white and red, they caramelize when you cook them, so no. Advice for traveling keto, prep your foods. I'm from the States, so I got some Applegate roast. I got some like sandwich meat, and then I made pancakes, or you can make flax crackers to travel with. And some avocado, and I went to Paleo FX. They have these like fat and little like butter in little packages now that you can take with you.
I can wash myself while I'm on the show.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Chase.
I'm washing myself right now.
I'm
watching. This is crazy.
Yes, there's a rare form of blood cancer, bone marrow. Makes me done doing keto forever. For when you're probably, Annie, you're probably doing it wrong. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, you can minimize your red meats. You don't have to do red meats on keto. So, but you can do fatty meats like lamb around the rib, and you could do pastured pork and pork belly, and you can do chicken and fatty cuts of chicken. Is 80% fat, caloric deficit okay? No, forget the percentage. Start with 200 grams of fat if you're going to consider it 80% of anything. Boosting testosterone for men. So, first of all, you need to get deep REM cycles of sleep. You guys know there's 5 levels of sleep. If you don't hit the 5th level, you have to get through the 4th level, which is deep sleep, which helps to repair. That's when your body releases testosterone the most, is between 9 p.m. and midnight. High fat, cholesterol, zinc, foods high in zinc, and this is just too much. I need to do another live broadcast. Okay, you're the best. Okay, keto exists. Thank you. Anyone interested in jumping on the keto, tell them, speak the truth. Yes, right? How do you know if you're in REM? Because REM is when you're dreaming and when you have vivid dreams, guys. So if you're not remembering your dreams, you're not dreaming, which means you are not repairing. Farm raised Atlantic salmon. No, farm raised. Nope. Are you doing consultations? Yes, I'm doing consultations. You can go to stephanieperson.com. You guys know you can also reach me on Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. You guys know I'm writing the Ultimate Keto book. Boom! I just got back from the Paleo FX and spoke with my favorite person in the whole world, which is Nora Gagatis. How do you stop severe leg cramps? Okay, you need to have more water, potassium, and magnesium. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to go because I see everybody's packing up. So, thank you for joining this broadcast. I'm sorry I wasn't able to answer more questions in the very beginning of the chat, but it's been a while since I've gone live. You guys know I've been really, really busy writing this book and also going off to the Paleo FX. You never dream on keto, amazing. Oh, now you're dreaming on keto. That's amazing. Thank you guys. Before you go, the last ones who haven't given me thumb love, give me some thumb love because that brings me more to other people out there.
Thumb love.
Yes. And you guys know that it's me against the whole keto community because I'm the only one that does everything so extremely disciplined. So thank you for joining this blurry to clear broadcast on my crappy, Droid S9. Yay, the likes went up. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thumbs up.
Thank you guys. Thank you Amber and Erica and Jen for joining the broadcast. And go to my Instagram and see all the information from the Paleo FX, Stephanie Ketogenic, and I'm out. Bye guys.
Watch Gay Straight Debate.
Watch Gay Straight Debate, and go check out Aaron, who's an actor, child actor, and still acts a little bit today.
I act a lot today.
Sorry.
Wow.
Aaron Schwartz, check him out. Okay, let's see here. Let's stop the broadcast. Wait, here.
What about probiotics, Stephanie? Can I take those?
Probiotics depend on the gut level. See, your small intestine is made out of a lot of bacteria.
Yeah.
So if you have an overgrowth of a particular bacteria, you add too much acidophilus, you can actually make more bad bacteria grow.
Oh,
so you start with a low-level probiotic. Probiotics come in the billion of cultures. People go up to 100 billion.
Yeah, they go crazy.
Yeah.
I take an acidophilus every day.
No.
That's too often?
Yeah, you have to cycle.
Also, antibiotics, you talked about how you were telling me how, like, if you went on 1 course of antibiotics, you would lose all the work you did in 10 years.
Oh, yeah. Just
Here's somebody who's on 20 days of antibiotics.
Yep. Destroys your gut. Poor Aaron, he's like,
I'm gonna help me. Well, once I'm off this, which is in a couple of days, but I don't want to like completely end it now because that's also messing it up. Once I'm off, would you help me
fix it?
Fix my gut?
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of work, so you gotta be ready.
I'm ready.
He's gotta be ready to fix that gut. He's destroyed his gut.
My gut.
I'm gonna fix my
I
gut.
have an actual gut.
That's a love gut.
Well, I want you to turn into a lovelier gut.
Okay. Nice. I will help you fix your gut, Dina.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, I thought you were calling me Dina. I was like, I will absolutely respond to that.
He's like, I like you.
I was like, listen, this power dynamic is clear. You call me whatever you want.
Alicia, I'll take it all.